my God. It's Thursday. It's exactly 7 p.m. as always, Eastern Standard Time tonight. We welcome Jason Sidwell to the Geeky Gamer Podcast. Special thanks to all our case letters and Mr. Interrupt, who provide the score, as well as our Patreon members. Yes, that's right, Patreon. You too can join our Patreon
Please
members.
join our Patreon so
'Cause-
we can actually fucking pay for a fucking Zoom. Oh my God.
Tim Roberts, Daniel Hulker,
Christ.
Nostalgic, and Natalia Cline all participate in our Patreon. This media is brought to you by Couchfire Media, but I feel like I should skip that part. And 12 Replay Productions for whatever the fuck they do. The Geeky Gamer Podcast with Jason Sidwell.
We're two gamers, okay? Plus Hulker, who's also a gamer. And I'm real mad. Ken is a tech junkie. Hulker, who are you?
I am a Patreon of this podcast and of Dreadlore in general.
Are you going to continue doing that?
Huh?
Are you going to continue?
I can stop.
No, please continue. You're so quiet, by the way.
You can't hear me?
No, you sound great, but
I'm gonna throw a chair through this window.
Then do it.
Do you want me to turn up?
No, you're perfect, Daniel. You sound great.
Okay.
I just can't hear anybody. I think it's me. I think I can't hear. I must be going deaf. All right. Jason Sidwell, artist, musician, creative, mighty creative, and very patient person.
Yes.
Who are you, Jason?
As you age, it's inevitable.
Your patience with us and our clearly ragtag group of technology junkies, or whatever we are.
So you're all in like different cities, or are you in like the same kind of area?
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Okay, yeah. So it's hard to like link it up with everybody all the time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think Discord was extra terrible today. But I think we're back. We're back to the basics. You go to cons, you show your artwork lots of places. You got Instagrams, Twitters.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a long time. I know at least 20 years or something.
I've been drawing since I was born, but basically when I got out of college, I started hitting like the comic book scene and doing shows. And, then I kind of, I played music for like 12 years and kind of turned into band flyers. And then I went back to the comics, and I'm hitting the real groove like right now. So I think like I got something pretty good. And I saw, a lot of just originals mainly. And then, I got a comic called Sun God Savage Action, which I just put out like last couple years, first issue. And it's kind of like a Lion King meets Walking Dead. So when I go to the shows, it's cooler to sell that in person, because people come up to the table and they, you kind of give them a spiel, and usually they'll bite and like buy a copy. You know what I mean? It's online, nobody cares, but like in person, it's a little more personable, and people want to meet you and see your art. And, it's been pretty good selling that show so far. So, I got kind of like an animated style, and I'm digging it, man. I'm knee deep in the second issue right now, and it's going pretty good, man. I just wish I had more time to get it done.
Can you tell us a little bit about the story? What's going on in the comic?
So it's basically like almost like Primal Conan style. I can actually go grab the book here and just show you, because I don't think you're going to be able to pull up anything on the screen here. I'll be right back here.
Oh, nice. Who's our sponsor tonight, Daniel?
All right. So I had some people and corporations and even some nonprofits who are lined up to sponsor this podcast. But over the course of trying to get in contact with them, usually something would kind of go wrong with the video or the speakers, or I would try and email them and it would bounce back. And sometimes my computer would just kind of freeze up. My phone wouldn't always work. So we don't really have any sponsors tonight because I couldn't really set up a meeting with any of them that would kind of work, right? Some of them use Discord, some of them used Zoom. One of them even used ICQ, but I mean I couldn't get that to work.
ICQ.
Yeah.
That's
so sorry,
any
I guess we're kind of
AOL IM.
No, no, that shut down a while ago.
It never shut down, Holker. We're keeping it strong.
So sorry about your luck.
Oh, you're cool, man. Yeah, so like right here is kind of the, I don't know if I can get in focus here.
Yeah, I got it.
But yeah, you basically got the hyenas here, and they kind of went on a bloodlust rampage and like took over the jungle, and they've been eating everybody. And so you basically have like the lion and the antelope, last lion and the antelope kind of like team up, and they're warriors, man. They're killing off as many of the hyenas as they can. I call them like blood demons in this because they're just bloodthirsty, They've ate the lion's family, they ate the antelope's family, so it's kind of like a revenge story, right?
Undead hyenas.
I haven't breathed for 2 minutes. What the fuck are you doing? What have you done?
I just it's like a horror jungle action, if you will.
I had written down Lion King meets Walking Dead. What do you mean? You literally mean Lion King meets
what? Pretty much. And then also then they do team up with a few humans, which is kind of cool. And then it turns into kind of like a Wizard of Oz type deal, almost.
Fuck yeah, man. Oh.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. There's kind of like a little pinup of them right there, just looking badass.
What the fuck?
But so you have like Azra is a lion. He's it's almost like a Conan style Masters of the Universe. And then Kudu, he's like the last antelope. He's got the tomahawk there.
Jesus.
So is Azra the main character?
Yeah, he's like the main character. And I got a few humans. The next one, I'm bringing in like an elephant character because it needs like a Gandalf almost, like he's like a wizard, So I'm just keeping it rolling,
What's the Hindu god that's an elephant?
Oh yeah, Ganesha.
Ganesha.
Yeah, it's totally based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you know it.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
Holy shit.
Bill, will you change your mic? Because you're just not.
No. No, you know what? I want all of the tech to go suck an elephant trunk.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Oh my god. But that's great. That's an interesting story.
I would have done it.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I think it'd be honestly be cool to just animated series, man. Like that would be awesome. But if you guys know a bunch of animators, which you probably don't, but
I know one animator. That's me.
Nice. There you go.
So yeah, I definitely animate, and I would absolutely talk about doing some stuff. I have I enjoy your artwork very much. I've kind of gone through your Instagram, and I've been showing the book cover, and I guess you probably don't know that we are live on YouTube. It's weird that we decided to do that. We're usually a little bit more together.
That's all right.
But I do have and I guess one of us should send you a link to the live stream. But I do have the cover and it's a wild, very highly graphic, um, very very stylized piece of work, and the characters are just unique, and
Yeah, thank you.
everybody looks very angry.
Yeah,
Oh, it's cool shit.
it's pissed, like a revenge tale, like I said. So,
Yeah.
but it's animated and it's gory at the same time. So it's kind of like you get the appeal. Like little kids will come up to the booth, and you can see they want one, but they don't have any money. So a lot of times I'll just be like, hey, if they look like they want a copy, I hand them to the kids, and they walk out of there happy, because it's like, I feel like kids today, they don't have anything really original like we did when growing up in the 80s, where everything was original, but it's like they just get like reboots, for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to just try to give them something original. Sure. All artists should be trying to do that, really.
What's the main character's name, or is there a main character that you follow?
The main character is the Lion. His name's Azra. So I was taking like Sun Gods, like the old tale, you know what I mean, where it's like Ra, and then his brother Set, and so it's almost like the bad guy hyena is like almost based off like Dracula, and so his name's like Rafangava. It's almost like an African ominous, almost like a Sepultura kind of vibe, but and so you could almost say like they're long lost brothers or something, like sure. Good, evil.
Yeah, well, the lion doesn't have red eyes, but everybody else does. Right. Well, except for the guy on the very bottom, he's got his back turned. So I presume his eyes are also red.
Yeah, it's all red.
And the deer, is that a deer? What kind of animal is that again?
His name's Kudu. He's like there's a style of antelope called the great antelope kudu. Yeah. You've ever seen them? They got these massive horns.
Yeah, those are cool.
I thought that was like a really cool character.
Why didn't the lion eat the antelope?
Well, I'm kind of developing this thing where, they were back in the day. It's like almost like the tribes weren't, going head to head. They were more working with each other,
Okay.
And the main bad guy kills Azra, the lion's family, and kind of like they get into it. I'm kind of, this is like a backstory thing I still got to flesh out, but he kind of leaves him for dead. And then Kudu comes and like nurses him back to health, basically, is kind of what I want to show there, and saves his life, like brings the last lion back, you know what I mean? And so he kind of like owes him his life, even though in regular setting he'd be prey, but they just kind of team up. It's almost like the hyenas are so evil that everybody that's left in the jungle has to team up to fight against them in some way. So,
well, they travel in packs, don't they? They're pack animals, hyenas.
Yeah. They gang up. They, mob you down. Tear your bones.
Sure. So this is kind of, and this, you said this. I'm stealing your comment. So it's fans of Conan the Barbarian, I'm guessing, Master of the Universe, Apocalypto, Thundercats, Black Panther, Planet of the Apes, Lion King. This kind of adventure, animals, gore, violence.
Right. Yeah.
And then what do you have, like a theme that you're going for? Do you have like a one-liner?
Well, there's kind of like a prophecy in there that's it's kind of like a rhyme. It's when the last of the tribes unite into one, all darkness will fade under the light of the sun. So that's kind of almost like the prophecy of the good guys coming together and then fighting the evil, and it's kind of going to evolve a little bit in the next issue. But now, man.
Did you get that kind of poetry from your music, or it, because I presume you wrote the story and drew the comic?
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of came together. It's weird. Like when you're on something good, it just flows. You know, you don't really. It's like it creates itself. Honestly, it's like with a good piece of music or art. You know, there's really no resistance. You're just kind of like in the zone. But when I was like developing it, or a lot of times you're just taking a shower and you get a good idea. You know what I mean? So, it just, if you're always kind of working stuff, it'll come out. But you know, that was just I don't know if you remember like the old Watership Down cartoon that came out in like the 70s. Really cool. I remember being a kid and watching that, where it's like they had that almost like ancient scene where it's like the sun, and it's drawn like really almost like Aztecian, and it like shows the rabbits. It almost shows like the prophecy there. That was like something I think like really inspired me when I was a kid. You know, that just like the dark quality of that movie. You know.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot of I didn't follow Watership Down. It was kind of depressing, wasn't it? I mean, I remember that much. It was like a war between, am I right? It was like a war between rabbits and something else, or the rabbits were fighting themselves. Is that
There's
correct?
it's a layered, it's pretty deep, man. And it was like, I remember seeing it as a kid, but it's really like an adult cartoon. You know what I mean?
Richard Adams, I guess, wrote it.
Yeah, it was. I think it's a famous book, and then they animated it in the late 70s.
Yeah, and I think it was supposed to be. I don't know, but I think it had to do with World War II, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so, man. It might be all symbolic, just like Animal Farm or something like that.
Yeah. Just something that you can introduce kids to the terrors of humanity early on.
Yeah. There's some kill scenes in that where you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrifying, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel...
I'll have to check it out. I've never seen it.
Oh, check it out. Yeah, it's I think like John Hurt does a voice. It's got like an all-star cast at the time, but you'll dig it, man. I mean, if you're into like, you know, dark adult animation, because it's really well done, but and the story's cool. I mean, it's like there's a lot going on. I mean,
Watership Down, you say?
What's that?
Yeah,
Watership Down.
Watership Down. Yeah.
The animation in this is like, it's really quite good. When is it? 1980 is when it the animation. Did they remake it?
Yeah, I think they did remake it. But it's not as good as the original. The original, I think they remade it, but it's not 2D animation. It might be like or they watered it down, Watership.
Sure.
Yeah.
Watered the ship down. But their teeth, I was not afraid of rabbit teeth until this. And rabbits are definitely, they're vicious animals, you know.
And they eat shit.
Do they?
Do they? What?
Yeah, they have something called a cecum. And they're hindgut fermenters.
Oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah, if you want something gross, look up how rabbits digest their food. It's
I'll bet. I'll check that out, man. That's it's like a special breed of rodent.
The animation is
rabbits are not rodents. They are lagomorphs.
Oh, I thought they were
closely related to rodents, but they're not. And you can actually tell because they have 4 incisors, I believe, in their upper and lower jaw. And whereas rodents have 2.
Oh.
Ah, wow. What else is in that classification other than rabbits?
There's not much. I have to. It's mostly rabbits. Well, rabbits are they're by far the most prominent animal. But there's something called a pika. I'm looking them up
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. I know what that is.
Yeah, all I know is that rabbits are not they're not actually rodents. They're closely related to rodents, but they're not.
I
Learn
thought they were
something every day.
marsupials. They're not marsupials at all. Don't they?
No, rabbits are eutherian mammals, i.e., mammals with a placenta.
Oh. Well, they're soft when you pet them. Do you know why having a rabbit's foot is lucky?
I have no idea.
I mean, my guess is that you caught a rabbit and got dinner because they're hard to catch. But I don't know. There are a lot of rabbits around here. I've seen a dozen rabbits in the last couple days.
Nice. Well, it's like spring or late spring, I guess.
Spring.
So
yeah, it feels like summer, really.
Yeah.
So you were in Columbus, Ohio?
Yep.
I have never been to Columbus, Ohio. I should go. I've said that I should go many times, but have not. Let's talk about some of your art. It looks like I'm looking at your Instagram right now. And for those who are listening in, it is, and I think across all of your social media platforms, it's JS or J Sidwell 0.
Yep.
At J Sidwell 0, SIDWELL 0. It looks like you have Jen. Is that correct? Am I making that up?
Jim. Oh yeah, I just did that one for somebody. That was a fun. I mean, I surprisingly loved that commission. I I kind of missed the boat on Jim when I was a kid, but it was fun, like kind of reliving it there.
Sure. You've got Thor and the Incredible Hulk. I think it's wild. Why did you decide to do the Mad Max Fury Road? Where did that come from?
I had that sketch cover for a long time, and I'm a huge like Mel Gibson fan.
Huh.
And like the Road Warrior, I think is almost the best one. It's hard. It's kind of a toss up. Like Thunderdome's awesome, but I think like Road Warrior is quite an original film. You know what I mean? And
now, is this a comic?
Or yeah, so that's the Fury Road. Like they put out, it might have just been a couple, 2-3 issues when the movie came out, the Tom Hardy one.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to do that Mel Gibson one with the dog, in the car, the original.
I mean, it looks like a really wonderful. Like I want to read the comic book.
Oh yeah, the art's sweet in there. It's really good. I looked in it there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss on like modern comics. Like either it looks awesome inside, or you can tell they just, whizzed right through it. Like,
phoned in the rest of it. I used to work for Mel Gibson at Icon.
No way.
Yeah, that was a wild experience. I really dig his kid, or one of his. I think he's got 5 kids. I worked with one of his kids. He was a super cool guy. I will definitely forward that to his son. I don't have a contact to Mel himself, but they look exactly the same. They look like he looks like Mad Max from that era.
Oh yeah, like the same era.
Yeah.
What kind of project were you working on there with him?
Well, we were live streaming, so
just live streaming. Cool.
It was fun. It was fun. I met Mel a number of times. We weren't like buddy, but it was definitely he was a wild guy. He would tell a joke though. He liked being the center of attention. I mean, there's no question of why he is an actor. He chose the right field for himself.
Yeah.
He's an entertaining guy.
I mean, what's really phenomenal, impressive to me is like his movies that he directed as well. Like those are just masterpieces, man. I mean, he like did Braveheart, Passion of the Christ, Apocalypto, which is I mean, that's incredible. You know, that's one of the most. I don't know if it's underrated, but it's really well done. And then that last one he put out, he might have something else after that, but the what's the name of that? Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one? That was a good one.
I
saw that one. I liked it.
Know if I saw that one.
It's probably been out 10 years or something by now, but it's a good one, man. He has like he's real good at like suspense and like emotion, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, because Braveheart, you know, there's parts where you want to cry, and then there's parts where you're just like so pumped up from the action, you know, and it's like he has that way of like, you know, too, when he's acting where he just like can like tug on your heartstrings and those like drama moments, you know.
Braveheart was a long movie.
Oh man, but yeah, is it good, dude?
It was definitely immersive. Like they went, and I have to say that about his films. Like he gets immersive, and like the costume design, the set design, it really is. It's powerful. But I remember renting that movie when it came out on VHS, and it was 2D. So you get through the first one, and then you know, go to the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it gives you 2 chances to not rewind the tape.
Right.
You get fined double if you didn't rewind back then?
I don't know.
50 cents or
I mean, that's the one you return and you don't rewind it, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll pay the 50-cent rewind fee. Did you always rewind your tapes when you took them back? Are you
probably? I mean, you know, it's I don't remember getting too many rewind fees, you know, growing up, but I mean, it's funny. Like I kind of went back to VHS. Like I still casually collect them now, just because it's like the sentimental value or whatever. And like I kind of got my basement where it's like almost like an old video store where they're kind of like laid out on the shelf where you can see each like cover, you know.
VHS. I mean, that is
reminds
a medium.
Me of
yeah, go ahead.
Something that happened a few years ago where someone recreated a video rental store.
That's cool. I saw somebody doing that online. I'm like, man, that's a cool idea.
But the only VHS tape that was in that store was Jerry Maguire. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
It was like an entire blockbuster, but that was the only movie in that entire store.
Yep.
Someone bought up every VHS copy that they could find online and made a store out of it for a while. I don't know. I don't think it's still there, but as kind of like a joke or a way to promote something else, that's what they did.
Yeah. Or just a tribute to Jerry Maguire. Yeah.
Was that the one where he's like, show me the money, or is that's something else? Yeah, show me the money. All right. I don't think I've actually seen Jerry Maguire.
You might enjoy it. I mean, it's, you know, it's like, it's a feel good movie, you know?
Yeah. Is it feel good?
It's like a rom-com, you know, feel good. You know, it's like a positive movie, you know, it's really just about Tom Cruise falling in love with what's her face.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. That's why. I'm not. I'm not I don't dislike him necessarily. He doesn't
check the boxes.
Doesn't check the boxes. Like I'm not gravitated towards it. So let's go into some more of this art. You got an X, what is that, an X23?
Oh yeah.
I funny thing, I self brag. I worked on I think the first animated animation with Wolverine and the X-Men where they were introduced in animation form.
I saw that on your IMDb. It says we end in 15 minutes.
I know we're we're really short on this one. We can switch it up to a different one somehow. I think we can just leave, take a break, and come back.
Yeah. Was like Bill going? Is he strangling that dog, or what's going on?
I think he's got some stuff going on there at his house that he's
right on.
working into. But yeah, the X-23. So this is a commission that. How do you get these commissions?
I got an eBay store, and people it's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I never really get to meet them in person. I mean, it goes all over the earth, but it's all just an online sales. They'll tell me what they want to see, and I'll throw them a sketch, and then they make changes or not, and then I just kind of finish the piece and mail it out. That guy actually lives in town, though. I met him at I think he was at the Columbus Toy Show I was at, and he just took my card or something and hit me up on eBay. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, sometimes like I've got stuff that I've sent to like Australia or like Sweden. You just get like random sales. It's pretty cool, man.
Are you J Sidwell 0 on your eBay store?
Yeah, that's my eBay too. You can find me on there. You got the flying line, just the line with the wings.
And what is the medium? What are you drawing with?
I usually do like Bristol board, just inks, and then I use like Copic markers to color everything. And then I started doing like a couple like acrylic Godzilla paintings. I started doing that this year where I got this little projector and I take like, I'll take some of the shots of the movie and I'll just kind of take them in Photoshop and like, make them a little more graphic and then blow them up on the projector on the canvas there. And those were a pretty big hit, so I'm going to keep doing those. You can kind of get some real nice blacks for the shadow and then, some real kind of like expressive kind of backgrounds to them. And they're a lot bigger, so I mean it's fun. But
yeah, what's the size of
those are like 16 by 20 on there, so they're like probably about almost like 2 feet tall.
Did you have any questions, Bill? Are you there? Are you okay?
He's like paused like this.
Yeah, I think he's frozen. I think we lost him. Oh, he got his other beer. He deserves that beer. You deserve it.
Yeah, Ken, this is not good for live content. I don't need to talk about what's happening over here. Transformers looks really cool. Buck Mudd says, I had an ex that was basically like that. I'm assuming. I don't know what that's in reference to, but it sounds funny. He says he just got back and asks, are rabbits coming at us?
We talked about Watership Down for a little while.
Oh, what is Watership Down?
It's like a 70s animated adult movie about like rabbits and it's pretty cool, man. I mean, none of you guys. I think Ken saw it. You've seen it, right? Or
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I have not seen it.
Daniel didn't see it either, so man, check it out. It's pretty good. It's got some dark stuff.
Yeah, it's brutal. Is yeah, brutal. I would say brutal. Let's do a little segue into music. I do we need to take a break? Do we have to log in and log out? How does that work?
So have you gotten a notification?
Yeah. We're probably about 5 minutes
hit
away.
Extend call.
Is that
and that's why it disconnected me for a second. I don't know how long it'll last, but
it says 11 minutes.
Did you
Your
hit
free
extend
group
call?
calls have a limit of 1 hour. So we've been on here for an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. So we'll have to
like take a break and come back. I wanted to segue into some of your music. What kind of music do you do, or do you still play music? Are you still in it?
No, I got out of that. Pretty traumatic ending to my last band, so I just kind of moved on, man. But yeah, we can talk about anything you want.
Yeah, is there, like, we usually, if we don't have any technical difficulties, kind of vet the people beforehand and talk about and ask them like what we can't talk about. So if you want to tell us what we can't talk about on the
anything, man, I'm open.
Tell us, so you don't do the music anymore. That's fine. Tell us about cons, going to cons. Like, what kind of cons are you going to? How do you pick a con?
Well, right now it's just where I can get to, without buying a hotel or something like that. Because I'm the overhead. Sometimes the table's like $400. So if you're not, you gotta try to make your money back. Breaking even's cool, but I'd rather walk out of there with some profit as much as possible. So like there's one in town I'm kind of up in the air because it's called Galaxy Con, and they have all these celebrities.
Galaxy Con's awesome.
So I'm gonna actually just go there and check it out this year. I've been trying to get on that one. I do Power Con, which is in town. It's a really good one. It's like a 3-day con, and then there's just some one-offs where it's just like 1 day here. And then I want to do the Dayton one, which is like Gem City Comic Con. It's coming in July. That's a real, like, the table's cheap for that. So that's like a real good one. And then I just got a new used car so I can start going out farther. Like I want to do the Lexington Comic Con, which is
do that. Well, let me know if you do that, and you can. If you do the Lexington Comic Con, you can crash on my.
Oh, cool, man! Appreciate it. But that one looks pretty good. I mean, there's so many. You just always hear about more. There's always more. But basically, you just go to a show, talk to other artists, and they'll tell you, what's a good one, what's not. But yeah, you kind of got to watch your overhead because, like I said, it's this one. It's like you're competing with everything there too. Like if it's toys or like celebrities or whatever, because nowadays people only got so much of a budget they're bringing in there, so it's like you gotta make sure you're kind of selling there.
Can you draw? Can you do stuff like on the spot in terms of drawing? So like maybe if people come up to your booth and it could be a way to like entice them. I don't know. I'm just
well, I got some offers at the last one because it was like 3 days, but I prefer doing that at my house because that's where my setup is. But if somebody just wants like a sketch, like a quick sketch, I'm down, but it won't be like a finished nice piece. You know what I mean? Because it's like too on the spot. I like to really because what I do is I'll like start at 25% and then I'll blow it up 50 and then put more detail, 75, 100, till all the details on there. And you really don't like miss a beat if you do it like that. But if you're kind of like, some guys are really good and they got the whole piece full scale and they can just go right into it and do a really nice piece. But I prefer to like blow it up as I go,
Ken, I posted a new meeting in the chat.
Okay,
I think we can slide over to if you guys want to.
Should we go ahead and do that? And I'll just throw us into a break.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Or however long it takes us to figure it out.
pretty nice. We'll see if my little subterfuge with Google worked, or if they're like, we know you're the same guy.
Know it. Gotta know.
Watership Down. Okay. Yeah. Well, I need to see it. I did a tabletop role-playing game called Dreadlore, which the shirt actually Holker is wearing. And my buddy who wrote the prologue for it, a guy named Logan Nance, he was promoting his book over at Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. Actually, he was there this year, and he did last year as well. Last year, getting a booth was like $600, and so we split it. Actually, I think Logan just paid for it, but the original idea was to split it. And we went in together, had a pretty good time. I think the Artist Alley would have been a better choice.
Yeah. Is it cheaper to do that?
It's cheaper.
A couple hundred or something like that.
Thing is, man, you have like about a week on those conventions. I mean, I'm sure you know all about this, but from what I want to take Dreadlore to cons this year as well. And I've been looking around, making a list, checking it twice. And what I've found is after a con ends, you got about a week or two. And people, they jump on those Artist Alley tables really fast, and you pay for it up front. So there's this idea of, like you said, you got to budget that overhead. You're dropping maybe $300, $500, $800, whatever, boom, 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 pretty quick. $2,000 is gone in booth tables, and these are the cheap ones.
Yeah. Well, so
yeah, go on.
A lot of times, like if you do the show, you can just sign up for the next one at it. Like they'll give you like a little bit of a discount.
Oh, that's
cool. You just get right on the list for the next one.
But that means they're all gone too, right?
Well, that means that same people are getting the tables again if they did good, and so it's like, but once you're kind of like grandfathered in that sense, like you really don't have any issue. But basically, if you're not like just getting it as you go, you need to be booking about 6 months out at least, or more.
Yeah, that's
it fills up, man.
Yeah, I kind of got shoehorned into the Lexington deal, and there's a couple other cons, like the smaller stuff I've been looking at, because, and I'd like, of course, your opinion. So you can go to GalaxyCon. Did you say that you had been there?
I applied like last year, but I was like way too late. So I'm just gonna go check it out this year and see if I want to fork it over for the next one, because my hesitancy is like it's just so big and there's so many celebrities that you're competing with, and it's so expensive to like get in there and like whatever people are buying, and I just want to kind of get a feel for it before I throw down for like $400.
I think like, so we had one of our previous guests, a guy named J.V. Hilliard, as an author, and he's going to be at GalaxyCon. Is it Atlanta? Is that where it is?
There's like all different. It's all different.
It's like San Jose and stuff, all kinds of stuff. But I think there's one in the South.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Is it?
Oh
Florida?
No, the company is based in Fort Lauderdale.
I was going to say I didn't think it was in Florida. I think it's in Atlanta, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so my con stuff would be Gen Con, Dragon Con, and then some smallers. I don't think you're going to have any problem with people coming by, because when people go to these things, they're dropping $1,000 on $1,500 on a hotel that they've grouped together. They planned a year ahead. This is something they do. They know they're going to spend all the money in the food court in Dragon Con, which is awesome, the sushi place. They know the things they're going to do, yes, but they're going to drop cash. They're there to drop cash. And when you got 60,000 people droving by, like,
good point.
That's the thing. You're gonna get people coming by. They're not gonna ignore you. And that's the question that actually J.V. Hilliard, Joe, and Ken and I were talking about is, do you need to go for the big cons, or is it okay to go for the smaller cons?
I think, man, you do both because it's surprising, like the smaller ones, how good it can be, because if you, especially if you're like, if I do like a couple of toy shows here in town and I'm like one of the only art booths there. So it's like you stand out in that sense, because people are like, oh, wow, there's actually an art table here where it's just complete, vintage toys or whatever they're looking for. I mean, most people are there just to collect toys, but there's still plenty of interest, so you get like runoff in that sense. But then the bigger ones, it's like, like you said, that 3 days or something, guys get a hotel room there, the cash is like flowing. But it seems like if there are multiple days, like the Sunday is like a slow day, and then like the other 2 days really hit,
Yeah. Sunday is really, it seems to be the day that everybody goes for discounts.
But honestly, like the bigger ones, you're gonna network with bigger people, and that's really what it's about, really, if you think about it in that sense, So I mean, people are gonna see your stuff, and that's always cool,
Yeah, I mean, actually getting exposure. You'd mentioned something earlier about online, no one cares. Most of my stuff is online, and Ken and I have talked about with GGP, for example, with the Dreadlore podcast, we do all that stuff. How does one promote? So, kind of, what's your opinion on that, and what's been your journey of doing that?
Well, I think you want to promote stuff online, and you definitely want to have like a home base for your merch. I was just saying that about the comic book specifically because there's so many people coming out with independent comics that, you know, unless it's there like in your face and you can like flip through it, it's hard to get a response unless you already have like a built-in following, where it's like, or a Kickstarter or something like that, where they're like primed to get it. But like, I think in like your case, like you're building a following as you go, and you want that like home base for the merch, and what you guys like sell like shirts and like stickers and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that's good. That's all good stuff. I mean, and then you can, double dip with the cons, take it to a con and sell it there too, and then leave your cards or whatever. And if they don't buy it there, they can come back around online and get it. So you definitely want to have that going on. But just like from my experience, just with like people buy other art from me online, they could care less about like an independent comic. So in person, I can like give them the spiel. I can tell them what it's about. They can see like I'm passionate about it, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool," and they can look through it and then decide from there. And it's something to be said more in like the physical realm of having stuff,
Yeah. Because they come to your table.
Yeah.
To see you and to hand, you hand them the whatever.
Yeah. Or like another piece catches their eye, and it's like, and then, okay, now you can sell them a comic book on top of that, or, whatever. But, the great stuff about that is I can reprint 1,000,000 of them. It's not
right.
I'm like tied into like Marvel or DC or something where once it's printed for the month, that's all the copies that are out,
I didn't know that.
So like, then it's like a back issue after that. But I feel like if you're an independent artist or an author or whatever, you can reprint your book 1,000,000 times, So think about like if you're making like $3 profit a book or $20 profit or however much you're making, how many of those books would you have to sell to make $1 million? And then you're a millionaire. So and you've already done the work. You've already wrote the book or, published the book. So, it's an endless cup from there. You can just keep promoting it.
Yeah, you sound like an artist, which is good because it seems like you're a really good artist that actually has some business acumen to boot. Which those two things don't often come together.
Yeah.
Right? It's usually like, the business person or the artist person that doesn't know anything about it. You actually anticipated my question, which was prints versus original art versus limited edition. Do you play around with any of that?
The only thing I print is, like I said, is the comic, but I know people that sell their prints and they don't really dabble in originals. They do the one original or their digital art at comic art, and you know what I mean? So they rely on the print sales, but the prints sell just as much, you know, as the originals. Like, people just, if they like the piece, they're gonna buy it. But for me, it's like I don't really want to spend the overhead on a print that might not sell, you know, that I'm holding on to. But I got a buddy went to college with. That's all he sells, and he does really well at shows. I mean, he sells like $10 11x17s, and they go, man. He's just always putting something new out. So there's really no. It's just whatever, man. People, if it looks good, they'll buy it, you know. Or that, you know, they.
Go
I'm
on.
sorry.
No, hit it.
And then also too, they can sign the print too for them to make it a little more personal, like they got something special, you know. So,
Ken, you had anything?
Yeah. What about you know, we were talking about going to cons and other alternative meetings. Have you put your thoughts in, because you have such a wonderful, like, clean, very anime, or you know, it's very certainly graphic design quality that really pops. Have you thought about doing a card game or a board game or some kind of?
oh sure, yeah, that would be cool. I mean, you know, it sometimes just you'll get like a random job like that. It's been a while. I mean, it's really kind of. I used to get like random stuff like that before the economy crashed, you know, where
Oh
somebody
yeah,
had
did you? So
business.
so you what card game, board game have you made?
Well, not so much that, but like, for example, like one guy in California, he saw my stuff. He's like, I'm a real big Quick Draw McGraw fan,
Ah,
and he's got like a muscle car, and he wanted me to design the wrap for it.
yeah.
So I did that, and like, I forget the little donkey guy's name, but he wanted that guy on there too. So we made a bunch of panels for that. Um, and you'll just used to get like random stuff like that where it's like, um, or people want like their caricature drawn. This one guy had like a insurance business, and he wanted like himself as like a superhero that they could use for like an ad campaign. Um, so I'm like totally open to do that stuff. I used to do a lot more in the past, but you know, people aren't just. It's different times now, man. People aren't just throwing down expressive art ideas anymore like that because they're
Sure.
pinching their pennies, you know.
And you know, the have you noticed a change in what people are looking for as well? I mean, it seems like everything nowadays is free on the internet, especially in our, like, as artists or something like that. Do you think society has changed where, like, unique artwork, now that AI is anybody can just generate something? Do you think that, have you run into issues with that?
I think, you know, it's a Pandora's box. Like, it's out there whether you want it or not. So you're competing with that. But there's always like, it's weird. It's like the old schoolers, they still want the traditional stuff. Like, that's where they see the value. And then, you know, maybe like younger generations, they want more digital. I mean, it doesn't, but I think everybody's, if you're good, even AI, it's like, I almost equate it like almost like photography, where you still got to cherry pick and like pick your best ones out of the batch. Like, if you do a batch of them, so you still have to have like a good eye to like sift through that and see what's good. But it doesn't, you know, it's not like, because to do like a comic art piece or a painting or something, it's going to take like hours upon hours, however many hours you want to spend, like you can put into that, where it's like AI is just,
Yeah.
you know, It's
Well,
here.
it takes hours and hours and more. Is
Right.
basically what you're saying.
Depending on how much dedication you want, or but that's the cool thing is it's like it becomes like human versus machine, almost like where, almost art is like human connection, in a way, because you're conveying whatever idea or concept or, beauty that you want to convey, and it has to make somebody feel something in a way, I'm not saying AI can't do that, but it's like it might take a little bit of a time for it to like transfer into that somehow, because a lot of people are real dismissive of it.
Sure. And your work is so interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if AI is, they've grabbed all of the work that you've done, or a lot of the work that you've done, and put it in the system.
If you're on like Instagram,
AI to draw you some undead hyenas.
Yeah, they took it already, man. It's gone. Yeah, I was just reading that where like the new metaverse on like Facebook and AI. I'm sure they've already siphoned everybody's art into their system.
Sure, because everything that we post becomes their property. And do you hesitate at all for posting stuff? It's kind of like, it's like we have to use social media, but then if we post to social media, like they take the, all the rights or whatever, or fractions of rights. It's definitely that's a downer thought.
Weird, man. Like in my case, it's just I'm doing a physical copy and then I'm scanning that in, so it's already kind of out. Somebody, or it's shipping to somebody's house, or
sure.
Or I'm trying to just sell the piece, but I think that's the difference. Like if you have like a physical thing you're selling, they can have the little reference pic. I already finished the piece, but I just think of it like promotion, man, because you kind of want to keep drawing people in, or at least, like I was saying earlier, have like a home base where you can reference.
Do you have a favorite comic or series, like where you really connected with the?
There's a lot, man. I'd say when I was a kid, probably the one that inspired me the most was the old the G.I. Joe comics, man, because that was like, if you grew up in the 80s, man, it was like a huge franchise.
Sure.
And I really like the comics because it had Snake Eyes, and it was like a much darker,
awesome.
violent version as opposed to the cartoon. So if you read the comics, it was like it was way cooler almost, and some of those, I mean, I got a lot of those covers like hanging on my wall because, it's just, that was like my guy, man. Back in the day, man. Like there's a classic like Mike Zett cover where it's like Snake Eyes holding his Uzi, and it's got just a yellow background, and it's like all the Marvel icons like around him. And I remember
they're all draped over and dead.
Yeah, and I remember getting that. We used to go to this used bookstore, and you could get used comics for like $0.25. And I remember getting that comic, and I still have it. I remember getting like every comic I still have of those, like G.I. Joe. I remember like how I got it when I was a kid because, I think I got like $1 a week allowance or something. So I remember like walking by this kid's garage like in the summertime, and he's like, "Hey, you read comics?" And he had this big stack of like G.I. Joe because he had a subscription, and he let me just cherry pick through them all for like a couple bucks. I got like every like Snake Eyes cover there was. I mean, it's unforgettable, like looking back. And now just go home and like try to draw them, you know what I mean? Like just copy it off of the
So Snake Eyes is definitely a fun character to pick. What draws you to a character that doesn't speak? Like why is this character impactful?
I think that's the beauty, is because it's like he's all action. Like he doesn't, and how he can't speak. He was like, I think he was in like Nam or something, and
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, and so he went through some trauma there, and he's totally like disfigured in his face, so he wears the mask, but he has to just rely on his skills, his like ninja skills. He can't even speak. I think like in the Renegades cartoon, they like show how he lost his voice, though. It's like a different thing where he's like saving his master, and like Storm Shadow throws like a Chinese star at him, like cuts his throat. Which that was a great series too. The G.I. Joe Renegades, man, they did a good job on that. And then also like Sergeant Slaughter, when you're like in the 80s, like old Slaughter cartoon, it was like, I mean, that guy's awesome, dude. That's one guy.
I didn't even realize. I thought Snake Eyes just had his swords. I didn't even know that he had a gun.
Yeah, he has like a Uzi and sword and a pet wolf, which that was another cool thing. He's kind of like his animal spirit's like a wolf, so.
Yeah. Did you have thoughts on the movie?
I think like live action G.I. Joe's blasphemy, so I just do the cartoon, the animated stuff.
Did they make a cartoon movie?
No.
No?
You're talking about the Snake Eyes, Codename Snake Eyes, the live action one?
Yeah, there were a couple of live action films.
Yeah.
I wasn't drawn to them. It's definitely it was kind of like Transformers.
There was a G.I. Joe movie.
They made a couple. Yeah.
No, like not a live action, a cartoon.
Not non-live. Was it in the 80s or?
Yeah, it was the 80s. It's G.I. Joe the movie.
Oh yeah, G.I. Joe the movie. Yeah, 1987. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that I'd seen it, and I want to say, I may be conflating shit. Does Duke die?
Yeah. Well, he goes into a coma, but I'm pretty sure he comes out of it. Yeah, that was a good one, man. I remember seeing that in theater. That's almost when like G.I. Joe peaked, and then like they came back with this series, but it was a different animation studio, and it was like, but they just kept doing it to sell toys. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, of course. So according to Wikipedia, it says the original script, Duke dies. However, it was, I think, changed. And then this was written into the script. It inspired the death of Optimus Prime.
Oh, really?
So it was connected.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh. That's wild.
Wild. So yeah, I guess in the actual release, he did not die. But pretty cool, man.
Super cool.
I like G.I. Joe because of all the reasons, but I remember as a kid even being like, why are they shooting lasers?
Yeah. That's sort of like the censorship,
Right.
They're killing like robots instead of actual.
Right. Now my brother, I think he got me. Maybe my brother didn't buy this for me, but in my mind he bought it for me. A Serpentor dude, and he was like like all gold and shit and green and was badass, and he was like, yeah, this is awesome, and I went down to the basement where we had our like art supplies and shit, and I thought he would look better red, so I painted like with acrylic paint.
Yeah. Oh wow.
My Serpentor red, and he got all like stuck, because it's acrylic paint. My brother came down. He was like, "What'd you do?"
Man.
Of course, that character is, worth something, but whatever.
Oh, the
like 8.
All our 80s toys are worth something.
Yeah.
And our 90s toys. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's
I could have bought a better house than I have with my magic cards.
Yeah, you and those magic cards, man. I know.
You went in on a magic. Did they not resell for you?
No, I was hungry in college, and I sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of magic cards.
Oh wow!
For like hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
Such is life.
Holker, have you ever collected anything? I mean, other than the tiers.
So yes, I have a collection of Wesley Willis CDs.
Nice.
18 of them, originals.
Yeah.
I mean, I collect CDs in general, so I have probably several hundred of them that I've accumulated over the years of artists that I like, as well as just CDs that I find on clearance at a used bookstore, and I just figure, all right, well, $1, I'll give it a shot. The cover looks nice. We'll see.
That tells you a lot about marketing.
Yeah, I would also collect. Nice. I mean, I've also collected maps. I've got a huge collection of old maps, old city maps. It's really interesting because at the time I thought no one would value these maps at all, but it looks like they're not really making them much anymore. So we'll see. I'm holding on to them. And
are you
I've
talking
also
about
got a fair? Huh?
Are you talking about the travel guides that you pick up when you go to the visitor center? And they have
stuff like
map?
that. Yeah. And actual city maps that they used to publish back in the day. I actually have. I have some old
Thomas guides.
Well, I have some old city maps of Louisville back from the 70s, where they have the East End Bridge penciled in as if like the bridge is going to be built soon, even though it wasn't built for another 45 years after that. Yeah, and let's see. I've got pictures of Lexington's proposed city map before they ever built the New Circle Road. This is from like I think the 30s or 40s or whatever. It looks very different than what actually happened. Very different. Yeah, I got a lot of that stuff.
Best laid plans, man.
That's cool, man. I mean, it's crazy because the map stuff, it'd almost be a relic because everybody just gets directions off their phone now. So it would be interesting to see if that ever goes up in value for you, or just there's some kind of market for it, down the road. Pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I really like older, really old.
Yeah.
City maps that kind of show a city as it was. So I try and find them. If I find them at an antique store, I'll buy them up.
Interesting. So with collectors, are they doing it to are they doing it to collect? Sounds like a vapid question. Because they for some reason love whatever this is, or are they doing it to sell? Like Beanie Babies. Like Beanie Babies.
Well, I think in order to be effective at collecting for profit, at some point it really helps if you are collecting because you really like the product for its own end, and then you just acquire a really deep knowledge that at some point you could probably use when you have a little more disposable income to buy and sell whatever product that you're into. If assuming you're not more attached to the products that you're collecting, because otherwise you'll just probably keep it. And I can't blame someone for that. But I figure at some point for someone to have done it for profit, they had to have done it as a passion. It's a really good way to just sort of learn a lot about the product and like it. I mean, I assume the same would be for, say, a comic book collector, to know what's valuable. At some point you probably knew what you liked, and you have a lot of reference knowledge to draw upon when you get into it.
A collector doesn't paint their G.I. Joe red or blow it up with a firework.
I mean, the cool kids do stuff like that, we would like unscrew them and then change the parts. You know, you could make like a Frank Joe, but you know, I mean, you know, it's just like cutting the hair off a Barbie or something. You know, it's same kind of thing. You just want to play with. You just want like experience.
Barbie.
When it grows back, that's the start of a horror movie.
When the GI Joes.
Do you put editions out on your comics?
Yeah, well, so I just mark it like first printing, or you know, when I get to the second one, it'll be separate, like second printing. So that's usually how they market, you know, in the industry. So it's like the first printing is the most valuable, and then you know the subsequent ones are less. You know, it's like but that's, you can still just keep reprinting them. You know, like so yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I had a couple guys, like you're saying, they're staying in a hotel. They're from Honduras.
Oh, yeah.
And they came up and they're like, saw our comment. They're like, oh, they're like big Ninja Turtles fans. They're like, we got to get the first issue because this might be worth money someday.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, yeah, this is the first print, you know. So yeah, they're real cool. And then, you know, like that's cool too when somebody wants you to sign them. So like, you know, you feel important there. Like they appreciate your work. You know, they just want like a signed copy.
Does that increase or reduce the value? I mean, if you have a famous person.
Yeah, if you're famous, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, and then like the other thing too, people get them like graded, which they'll pay, you know, however much to send it into like a grading company, and then they'll send it back in like a nice plastic case with like a 9.5 or out of 10 or whatever. And then you can I mean, I seen Todd McFarlane graded comics where he signed it. It's like $1,500. So, I mean, and he's still alive. So it's like, imagine like if you had like a Jack Kirby or something, you know, it's almost like once you're dead, it goes up infinitely more, you know?
So I went to art school and they were like, your art will be ×4 when you die.
Yeah.
So $4 whole dollars.
Right. You don't see a dime of that money. You're dead. You know?
Yeah. No,
I got two of your big paintings. He said paint over them. It's like, no, I'm waiting until you're dead, buddy. I'm gonna sell them.
Yeah.
I got the rest.
I got the amp though.
You did get the amp. That's right. Yeah, man, it's a thing. It's a thing. Like, when you're doing artwork, right? So I'm assuming you do art because you love to do art.
Yeah. I just been doing it since as long as I can remember, man. But you know, in a way, it's like it's a process, but it's also like therapeutic. You know, like you get in the present doing it. Yeah, I really like
time.
What was that? You gotta make time,
space
to
do it, right?
Yeah. But you know,
how do you accomplish that?
Once you get it set up like a system, you gotta. I mean, all you gotta do is like clean up the, you know, the excess. But yeah, I forgot my next point was gonna be like. Man, I kind of just had a brain fart there. I was gonna go on a tangent there, but what I was gonna say.
You'll get it.
That is okay.
All right.
It's us literally about every 5 seconds. So I'll continue talking. You'll remember it.
Do it.
Right. Here's a profound question. So you decided to do art. You do it because you love it. Why?
I think it's just like what else would you do? You know what I mean? It's like you find something that you really like doing. It's like you love it so much. Like what else would you do? You know?
And you stuck with that for a long time because you started when you were a kid.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's kind of crazy. Like when I remember, like in 4th grade, I sold like my first commission, which was like Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit, and he's like, make her tits big, and like gave me $2 or whatever his lunch money was. And it's kind of funny because like really nothing else has changed. Like they still want the big tits, or like the sexy babes, you know what I mean? So I think like early I found out like you can make money doing this, and then you're also inspired by a lot of cool stuff that was already out, and
inspired by the
yeah.
That's wild. I was drawing in 3rd grade, and I remember I think it was like the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
And this dude for the class, he saw my drawing and then he drew the Kool-Aid Man, and I was like, oh well, I can't draw the Kool-Aid Man anymore.
He stole your he just copied you, like
he stole my Kool-Aid Man, man. Well, I was never really particularly good. Like no one was asking for commissions. So you've been enterprising since elementary school.
Yeah, well, somebody just planted a seed, it was like that's all it really took, it's like I think I'm sure all you guys can think back like a point in your life, like why are you doing what you're doing now? And there's something in your childhood that like kicked it off,
That's the highlight right there.
Yeah, but it is a little bit strange. Maybe it's not strange. It seems strange for someone, in my experience, to get an itch for something when they're very young, and then into their adulthood, they're still doing the same. Like it's the same idea.
Yeah,
like really grinding it out. Like
yeah.
I'm rather jealous of people like that.
I think that is that not like a role playing game? If you play 2 different characters in 2 different role playing games, that there's a reflection there. Not to conscript your question, I just wanted to ask you a question about your question.
Are you asking me or him?
You.
No one wants to hear what I have to say, Ken. Come on now. So what's the question?
Basically, if you create a role-playing game character, all your role-playing game characters are eventually going to become the same because they're you.
No. I don't think so. I mean, I think that's I can see where a person might say that. I'm sure it's happened, but I think that would be similar to saying something like, "Hey, Jason, are all of your characters you that you draw?"
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
Do you dig where I'm going with it?
Yeah. I think what I'm trying to do is like more symbolism. But I'm sure there's like aspects. So it's like if you take yourself and you divide it up, like almost like think like the Wizard of Oz, like the Cowardly Lion, he wants courage. The Tin Man wants a heart. The Scarecrow wants a brain. So it's like you're almost sectoring out like aspects to what'd you say, like emphasizing a certain character. So maybe like the lion represents strength, the antelope represents like willpower or something of that nature, and then you can kind of think of it like that. But one of the main things really good artists do is they use symbolism, and you see that a lot in like movies, where a really good movie is past the point of the character, like the character represents something, at the end, or it gives you some kind of like revelation when you're watching it, so like take Godzilla for example, like he would represent almost like a chaotic neutral, because he's also like a guardian of Earth.
You've been playing some D&D, haven't you?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like Godzilla, he's perceived as evil, but he's actually almost like an enema for Earth or something, where he like cleanses them. You know what I mean? Cleanses like the You know, so it's like you can't like root for Godzilla in the Godzilla movies. You know, it's like because screw these stupid humans. You know what I mean? He's just they're working against him. He's like got their best interests in mind, but they want to.
Yeah, I dig it. And then he turns out to be like a good guy, kind of.
He's almost like an anti-hero, I would say.
Yeah. You know, Ken, maybe just Google.
Yeah, Google Meets hates you for one, and you know, did you see Godzilla -1? I think that's been in.
I watched.
theaters.
I watched a good bit of it.
The little Mac things. Everybody do this.
No, I can't do freeze frame like that. I just can't do it.
I think it's the wrong app.
It's not gonna do it. It's just not gonna do it. I don't have it anymore.
This
I've
ain't
lost
Discord.
I can't do my moves anymore. I hate Google Meets. It also doesn't like Bill. He's out. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So Godzilla -1, how do you think it compares to, say, some of the other Godzilla films? Have you watched some of the other ones?
Oh yeah, I'll watch as many as I can. I'm a massive fan of like the like post 2000. So like Final Wars is like my all-time favorite, and then you know Tokyo SOS, Shin Godzilla, awesome. You know what I mean? But I did the CGI. It's like hit or miss with me, but I really like the new Kong Godzilla Empire. Man, that was like really enjoyable. They did a good job with that.
And so you're into the what do you think that maybe Jurassic Park was some of that in there? Do you think there was a connection with their storyline versus Godzilla, or do you think that is a completely different?
Good question. I feel like maybe Michael Crichton. I mean, you'd have to ask him, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's more dinosaur based because he's running the gamut on like the species of dinosaurs.
Sure.
And
but I
like,
mean,
do
the
that-
connection of
yeah,
big monster and
I'm sure it inspired him. If you watch that, there's like a commentary on the first one where the Tyrannosaurus is, you know, the nighttime car scene where he comes out, and they're saying like they used I don't think it was a line. It's like some weird sound for his voice. I forget what they said, but it was like you know, they just sampled something like a real animal.
yeah. This is a technical. We don't usually have this many technical difficulties.
Oh,
He's back.
Yeah, it's usually not this bad.
He's back. Look at that.
I'm just gonna do this.
So yeah,
it's stuck there.
The internet only wants happy people. So if you're not
Right.
happy, it's not gonna let you on.
What the hell, man? Come on, Google Meet. Stop sweating me, man. So, Jason,
Go ahead.
I know I'm like jumping in here, but I'm about to get cut off anyway.
Oh, you're good.
You look like the dude who plays the Punisher in
Oh, really?
in the Daredevil series.
Oh, John Bernthal.
I don't know. He's an awesome actor. He's also in
Yeah, he's good.
Street, or The Wolf
He's
of Wall
good,
Street,
man.
I think.
He's great in Wolf of Wall Street too. Like that, he does a really good job.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that's all. That's all I got.
Yeah, they should cast him in a Godzilla movie. It looks like we have
Godzilla! Your call ends in 15 minutes.
one.
So we can
more
extend
15.
again. We got 15 minutes right now.
They should cast him in a Godzilla film, I guess.
Godzilla.
That would be extra.
Yeah.
Uh,
John Bernthal. Yeah.
Good. Did you so we talked Comic Cons, we talked AI, we talked music. Growing up in Columbus, it's a pretty big town, right? How many people are in Columbus?
I think it's like 800,000, 850,000, maybe. It's like growing. It's like supposedly one of the fastest growing cities now. So it might be more.
So it's a growing city. It has a scene. Do you think your experience is because you grew up kind of? Would you consider it a city, a small town, a medium-sized city?
Yeah, it's a pretty small city. It's weird too, because like it's mostly like outskirts. Like the downtown closes at like 5 and 6 p.m. You know what I mean? Like unless you work down there, there's really not much going on. They have like some bars and stuff, but like the primarily just closes down. So everything's happening around like Ohio State campus and like, outside of there. And then there's like subsects of Columbus where you can go like north or south. And it's like it's totally like almost like a different city. It's like a different type of person lives there.
Yeah. Do they have like a scene? Is it kind of like
so there's, and then like too, when you're just driving in Columbus, there's like a really rich neighborhood, and then another block's like a really poor neighborhood. So it's like really sporadic, just depending on where you're going. And they're like right butt up next to each other, so it's a weird. But yeah, I don't think, it's just, I grew up here, but it's, apparently it's not the safest place, but I just feel at home here, for some reason. But whenever I leave town and like come back, I kind of get relieved, because I get to go to my place and relax,
Sure.
Just how it is.
Have you ever been to a place called Otherworld? Or heard of it?
Was that like a goth bar type thing, or like?
No, it's like a immersive art experience. I think it's what it's called. Let me look at it. It's in Columbus. Otherworld. There's one in Philadelphia and there's one in Columbus. And it's like this virtual kind of trippy art experience where you're walking through some wild super it's an experience, you're walking through.
I've never heard of it, man. I'll check it out.
I mean, according to them, I mean, we can go deep into it. It just says about Otherworld. It's not going to tell me a whole lot. It looks like it's lights and glowy shit and like.
Where does it say? Does it say where it is?
3,200 square feet of immersive art installation in Columbus. 40 scenes filled with large-scale art, mixed reality playgrounds, passageways. It's art and storytelling. 47 rooms, 54 projections. I feel like a freaking advertisement here.
Wow. Was it in Franklinton? Where's it at in Columbus?
I don't know anything about. It says, I mean, as far as I know, Columbus is like it's just one location. It's just a place.
It kind of is. I mean, it's
on their website it says you can buy tickets, but it doesn't like there's a contact.
We definitely do not get a kickback for any of this.
They gotta contact us. I guess you gotta contact them in order to
okay.
You can send them questions. You can do proposals. You can propose like a room.
Yeah,
apparently.
You could probably get your like a show, like a fine artist gallery or something in there.
Yeah, it looks like Alice in Wonderland met like Tom Petty, met like mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
So what do you
weird.
think about psilocybin, Jason?
Oh, there is. I got it. It's on Chantry Drive. Chantry.
Chantry Drive.
43232 is the zip code. 43232.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out, man. I've never.
Ken,
There
I
used
think
to be
you
a-
got him.
There's an Applebee's and a Subway nearby.
Yeah.
Get hungry.
He's gonna go.
The Diesel
Use that
USA
sales
group.
tactic. When you-
Yeah.
Stop talking.
Is that somewhere like you wanted to go there?
I want to go.
I'm gonna throw
So if
my
I go out-
laptop
I'll-
out this window.
It's 9 miles east of downtown, and
Oh
there's
my
free
God.
parking available.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Otherworld.
Ken is actually the marketing wing of the Geeky Gamer Podcast. We send him out for hours on end to talk at people.
He canvases for Outer World.
Yeah, Otherworld.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, there used to be
like-
a goth bar called
Hey, listen, it's Otherworld, okay?
like a goth bar called like Outer World or something like that, or Outworld.
Oh yeah, I want to go to that. That
Yeah,
sounds
I don't think it's open anymore. That's why it's kind of.
Oh.
There's like he's on like a local airwaves. He used to have like local TV back in the day. His name's Damon Zex. He'd like paint his face like the Crow, and is like totally awesome like performance art. One time, like he went on Sally Jesse Raphael, and he like burned him, in front of the crowd, and he like went on this like revenge video where he's just like, Sally motherfucking Jesse Raphael, I will kill you. And he like went on like a tyrant. I mean, it's genius, man. He's got to be on YouTube to this day, but he's like a local legend, and he would hang out at Outer World, or I think that was what it's called, Outworld.
What's his name again?
Damon Zex.
Damon Zex. All right.
Zex. Yeah. You'll. It's totally right up your alley, Ken. I mean, it's like.
I mean, if I go to Columbus, is there going to be a goth club that I can?
I hope so. There's all kind of weird stuff around here, man. You just gotta look it up.
Hey, just so y'all know, I'm outer here.
Oh.
You're out?
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
All right, brother.
Are you
Well,
going
do you? I look forward to meeting Hulker 1v 5 or 5v5 and Axis and Allies coming up in a couple of weeks. Maybe we'll live stream it to the Geeky Gamer Podcast.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting.
Just the board
I won't
with
be
our
there.
yeah.
If you're hosting it at your place, I mean, you could set it up if you want, I guess.
Yeah, I'll set that up. A pleasure as
Look at
always.
Axis and Allies, man.
All right. Good night, y'all.
God bless you.
Do you play role playing games
I do not, man.
or board games?
I do not, man. I'm just
Video games?
I do not. I used to play.
Mind games?
I'm working like 2-3 jobs right now, so I don't. But I do got some guys I work with. They do the LARPing, like they go out in the woods and like have the war battles and stuff. They're telling me about that.
Our last episode was all about LARPing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So we got that covered.
I guess.
So LARPing, is that a big thing, you think, in Columbus, Ohio? You want to give them a shout out?
There's Columbus is it's got every kind of stuff. It's probably just like Lexington, but it's like there's plenty of.
Oh, Lexington doesn't have all kinds of stuff.
Oh, really? There's there's all kind of different scenes here because it's like you have the campus scene, and then there's all kind of kids down there, and then there's all kind of just it's all kind of different kind of weirdos, man. I mean, whatever, pick your poison. There's like metal scene, indie rock scene, there used to be like more goth stuff, but I don't know if that's dying
They all got
out.
old.
Yeah, I guess.
They all got old and stopped wearing black.
Yeah.
There's like it's a big hip hop city too. I mean, there's plenty of that going on.
Good.
There's some like definitely like national artists from here. There's a guy called Blueprint who he has his own record label, and he tours. He was at like Rock the Bells tour like back in the day. There's Aesop Rock.
Yeah. I wrote a treatment for that, a music video for that. Really, I thought it was really generic, that song, their breakout song, and it's just like Aesop Rock. I think that was it. I don't know. Yeah,
there was he's like a real Columbus aficionado. Like I think the guy's name's like RJD2 or something that he was friends with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's always there's this place called Scully's. It's a few miles from here. There's always kind of like hip hop shows going there, and they're packed, man. I mean, it's
sure. Hip hop's great.
Yeah.
Do they have the records still, or do they do MP3s?
Oh, like a turntable, you mean, or
yeah,
or they they mix it up. I mean, it just depends. They have like a 80s night too, where they go in there and they're just playing 80s stuff. And
so we got 3 minutes left on this call.
Did you guys want to continue, or
up to you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're just should we pop out and join? Should we take a break?
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Give
me a second.
We're gonna take a break and we'll be back.
All right.
Okay. And we're back with the Geeky Gamer Podcast. I think I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
All right.
Technology is pretty wonderful. What's next? We're more of the same.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm just trying to get my art goals on top of my, 2 jobs or whatever, just having the energy to do stuff. But it's going good. Like I always find time on the weekends, or make time, whatever. But yeah, it's been going. Like I've actually been, a lot of people been buying commissions. Like this is a good time of year. So, it's pretty consistent, man, which I was kind of having a problem with, like earlier this year. It's like you'll get like runs and then just die. Just dies, So
does that have to do with the time you put into it?
You mean like the runs or like?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're hustling, you're getting the art out there.
Yeah. Well, I think you
Go
can
ahead.
make it faster than it sells, but then what's going to happen is you're going to have a nice stock of pieces that you can just take to a show, and then they'll move like 8 times as fast. Like it's just different times, man. It's like, it seems like the shows are where it's at because people are like Bill was saying, they got the money, they got the budget in the hand, and you just gotta get in the way of it,
Sure.
But yeah, that's what I found. It's like I just keep, at least if I can just do like 1 or 2 pieces a week, even if they don't sell that week, you just got them, to roll over to something else. Some of them take longer to find their home. That's all. You just gotta be patient. It's like
how do you keep inspired? I mean, what keeps you in it, focused on?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, a lot of times you aren't, you're not in the mood, but every time I go like start a new sketch, you kind of just forget about the outside world almost. You're just like focused on the one thing, and then best way I found is like you'll do a sketch, but you don't want to overwork anything. You just do like a pass on it. Then maybe go make a sandwich or something, or go, do a load of laundry or whatever. And then you step away from it, come back, and you can find kind of what's wrong with it. You need to keep tweaking, keep changing. And then, so it's almost better. Like, it's almost like less is more type thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Like you step away, come back. It's almost better to do that than just get like laser focused and like overwork something.
Are you working on 2 or 3 at the same time, or just?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, that's a good way to do it because, like if somebody's got a commission going, then I got that piece working. I can look away from that and I can get down on another piece, and you just focus on another one. You come back to the first one. So that's actually the most efficient way to do like multiple ones, work them all up to like final pencil, and they're ready to ink, and then you just ink them all at once and like color them all at once, and that way, you get the most out of your time, because it really doesn't take much more just to do that, and it helps to keep you like bouncing off of the other one,
And it seems like so you do a physical thing where it's like if you took it into Photoshop or something, you could just hit a button and it would ink it.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like I've been doing graphic design professionally for like 20 some years. So I get like really agitated being on a computer too long. And like, I really hate like coloring my art in Photoshop because it takes so long. And it's like, like you got to sit there, and it's just so much easier and more enjoyable to like feel the marker, and then just do it by hand.
So
But,
it takes it. You like the texture, like you don't just, I mean, I'm looking at the art and I can see where you're inking I can see the lines of the marker on the page, and that gives it, you think that gives it more character than, I would say, just doing a paint bucket and having it fill the whole.
Yeah, I mean, and well, it depends too. Like some people want like a digital, or you would have to do it digital for reproduction purposes or whatever. But what I'm just trying to do is like, you know, I feel like the traditional stuff, it creates like a raw, you know, expressive element that you can't get on the computer, you know. And then I kind of, even like if you look at that comic, like I even like did the text by hand, and like I kind of scanned it in, and you know knocked out all the black and stuff, because it has that like punk rock kind of expressive by hand look, which is kind of something I developed like just doing band flyers over time, because rather than do like a font, if I take that font and then I take it and on a light box and draw it by hand, it's like much more expressive. And then you like, it just gives it a nice like quality to it, you know.
And that's all of these issues that you've done.
Yeah. So it's weird. When I was in college, I was like right around the point where, you know, they're just coming out with like Mac and software and like Photoshop, and they're training us on that. But we had to take like a traditional typography class. And back in the day, they would actually do it by hand. So I remember taking that class, and everyone's like, why are we doing this by hand? You know, nobody does this anymore. And I actually ended up using that when I got out, because everyone's doing digital, and it's almost cooler to do like non-digital now, you know, like, I don't know. It just gives it more of an expressive quality, you know, where it's like you can see the little variations of where it's not accurate, or it looks like somebody did it by hand, you know.
Yeah, I honestly don't like digital art that much. I mean, I've seen some of it that it's awesome, it's cool, and all those things, but you touched on it earlier. You know, if you make something digital, there is no original.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it is an original, just it's a representation, because I keep on saying the digital original, and it's rhyming. It's a representation, zeros and ones. It is a copy in and of itself of what you did, right? So you did the drawing, and the computer copied that into a representation. So that performance art of you actually doing it is gone.
Yeah.
You know, there are only prints left over. There's probably something there that's actually pretty interesting, but we're not going to go into that. I dig original stuff. If you were to sell your original piece, how much would you sell it for, as compared to your prints?
Well, I mean, what I was trying to do is just started off where it was like bids, and then there's no ceiling to it, you know, because there's guys on eBay that like, they're incredible, and that's all they do is like they just do like 20 pieces a week, and they're making like hundreds of dollars, you know, because they got a nice following. And I was like taking that model, I was trying to emulate it, but I don't get that kind of traffic, man. So my pieces don't sell for, you know, that much. But it's like, even since I got a scan of it, even if I wanted to like do a print later on, I could. But I just find that it's like, it makes you a better artist to constantly be doing original pieces, you know. Like it's almost like you know, you can just see like the progression of like your skills to get better. You make a lot of mistakes, that's how you learn. But like if I'm going on a finish on a piece, and I mess something up, or you know, maybe like the drawings off, like, or I just mess up the marker or something, I'm gonna actually start it over, like the whole process. So it's like, because I can't go into Photoshop and just like click a button, you know what I mean? Hit Control Z. I'm going to do the whole, the whole inking and then the coloring over. So sometimes you'll get like multiple versions of an original, which a lot of people do that anyway. They're doing like comps. So you just try to, if you do it like that, you just maybe do 3 versions just because you're not hitting that day or whatever. And then maybe your first one's still the best, but you've done another couple just to compare it. You know what I mean? But they're all a little bit different. It's almost like live jazz, where like one note's a little bit off. You know what I mean? And that's what makes the live performance beautiful. It's like it's the same song, but it's like little variations when it's like live.
Right. That's cool.
But that's kind of I just think of it like that, where it's just like versions, because you can bomb a piece all day, but it's like as soon as you bomb it, you're just going to want to do a better job on the next round. And then it's like it always hits like after you bomb one, you're always getting a real good piece after that, because I don't know, just something like clicks.
Now, what do you do if you screw one up? Do you throw it away, or do you
well,
it's with it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the Bristol board is like dirt cheap. It pisses you off when you screw up a sketch cover, because those are like $10-$20 depending on what you want. So when I first started, I would I bombed a bunch of sketch covers, and that's how you learn, man. It's just how you get better. But I don't really, it's kind of cool. Like I don't really bomb them too much anymore. It's like you kind of reach a point where where what was once a bomb is like now a solid piece, and you can pass it off. You just, because you keep getting better. You know what I mean? Where like your worst is not as bad as it used to be, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I do have a question about your materials. You said sketch covers and Bristol board. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. So they're, basically when you ink a comic book piece, you have what's known as like a Bristol board, which is pretty much what most people ink on. Now it comes in like different sizes. The comic pages are on like 11 by 17. They're actually scaled to like 50% on the finished issue. So everything's bigger and then shrunk down on the comic. And then the commissions are like usually like 9 by 12 ish. And then there's comic sketch cover, which is honestly like the most genius thing the comic book industry came out with to help like artists, because it's a comic that they've printed of the issue, and then the outside is almost like a piece of Bristol or something, and you can do your own custom art on there and sell the original comic. And these are big because it's like the prints. I don't know. There's like a batch of, let's say, like 100 comics, and there's only like maybe 3 sketch covers that they give you with that batch, and then you can go online and get them, or like a comic book shop. But it's going to run you anywhere from like $7 to a blank one's going to be like $7 to like some of them even $50 if it's like a hot issue. Like the turtle stuff always goes up. So if you don't get it right away, like you're gonna, if you want a Turtles cover, it's gonna be like $30 for the blank, after a while.
So it's a comic book with a blank cover.
Yeah.
And then the artist will draw.
Yeah, I can go grab one here if you want to see.
Yeah, grab one.
Yeah.
I had no idea that existed.
It's wild.
My art was more canvas oriented, and now I just do I use a number 2 pencil.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some of your sketches. You're like, can you make this? And I'm like, well, no. Let's see that.
Like an X-Men one, and then you open it up, and it's actually got the comic in there.
Okay.
And they just give you like a blank cover and back, which is like, you just do original piece on there. And these started out like artists would just do like a head sketch or something at a convention. But then they started, they just started blowing up, and it's great for like, even aspiring artists, because there's a lot of crap on eBay that people just do them, and it's like they're trying to sell them for like $200, but they're not at the $200 level. Let's say, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I go for it. You know what I mean? Like if you can get that money out of somebody, then you should try. But you can get a sketch cover for like $5-7 and resell it for whatever somebody's willing to pay. But they're really genius, because it not only gives you a nice piece to like resell for as much as you can, but it's good for like the modern comic industry too, because it's like that's what it's kind of like a variant issue where it's like it comes like 3 to 5 in a batch of 100 or whatever that the comic store's got to get. And so it's like rare in that sense. Even some of the blanks, you could just resell that. I mean, some of the people get the blanks graded and they're $100-$200. So I don't know.
If you were gonna draw on that, would you do something that has to do with X-Men, or would you draw like a caricature of that person or something for yourself, or what?
Yeah, usually like my favorite X-Men, Psylocke by far. I mean,
Psylocke's the bomb. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm always like, and there's different like placements of the logos and stuff like that. So when I see it, like I try to get an idea like right off the bat, like what kind of stuff I'm gonna do. But yeah, I mean, and then I have a big box of these, like just that I've collected, that are just a bunch of blanks, so I can just keep churning them out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I try not to spend more than $7. So if it's like, I'll go on eBay and just like get a batch of them. Some of them might be 10, some of them might be 5, but if they average like $7 with shipping, then that's a good price for me. I can resell them. And
I mean, this is kind of a going back. I'm sorry. I know you're in the middle of it, but I wanted to go into Psylocke just for a second. Didn't they had Psylocke in one of the recent, was it the Daredevil?
Oh, really?
I think she was. I didn't see the new one though.
Yeah, I think it was the newer Daredevil. I could be wrong about that, but they didn't call her by her name. It's like you kind of knew she was Psylocke because like duh, but they didn't ever. I think they called her Betsy or something. Yeah. That's all I got. I didn't mean to interrupt her.
It's almost like foreboding, like they're like just planting a seed, and then maybe she comes back later on or something. Yeah, those that show's cool. I mean, the Punisher stuff is awesome in that series. But yeah, it's like some of it's just too slow to like really, because they want to draw it out so they can make like these hour-long episodes that people keep watching. But yeah, man, they're probably just like wetting your beak with Psylocke, and then she'll come back later.
Yeah, I guess it was The Last Stand is the last one she was in.
Just give me a good story. Why can't they do that? Why can't they do that?
Are you looking forward to the Deadpool new film?
I mean, the one with I'll probably watch that. That looks cool. I mean, I'm a huge fan of like Hugh Jackman Wolverine. He's real great at that, man.
Huge actor, man.
Huge actor, man. Yeah, so that'll be cool seeing that. I mean, it's just so good, I mean, that was a great performance there.
Logan was an awesome movie.
Is anybody annoyed about how like the Wolverine doesn't ever have any of his powers throughout the movie series? Like, I think
in Logan, it's cool. It's like kind of old man Logan-ish, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to see the one moment, spoilers, at the end where he juices himself and he's Wolverine again. And the whole time I was sitting there thinking, this is what everyone has wanted the entire fucking time. Like all these movies that they've had Hugh Jackman in. And some of them are really good. Some of them not so much. The whole time, this is what we want, and you're giving us about 2.5 minutes of it. What the fuck? It's like Mandalorian. Like, the whole time, we wanted to see the last 5 minutes of season 2 Mandalorian. The whole time. Like, take all of what they did, throw it away. Just give me Luke Skywalker kicking ass. Like, when I see Wolverine, I want to see Wolverine kicking ass.
Yeah.
Not Wolverine with like a handicap, or Wolverine with he's old, or no, motherfucker. I want to see Wolverine kicking ass. God damn it. So yeah, I was a little bit pissed off. I think Logan was an awesome movie, but couldn't they do one where it's like Logan?
Yeah.
Not being. How about Logan being Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not old.
Just getting his ass kicked over and over again because
they should have. I'm
he has
surprised.
healing factor.
Great action like that. That would have been a good like mix up from what they're. Was there like 4 movies or something?
There's a lot. He's played it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
I
the X-Men
saw
movies and-
the sequel, Logan 2 or whatever, Wolverine 2. I think there was a sequel. I think that was a similar thing.
Origins is one.
Yeah, Origins is good. And there's one where he's like he's got like a sword. I forget what that one's called. Is that 2?
Yeah, I think Wolverine 2 wasn't very good. I don't think he had his powers in Wolverine 2.
Where he goes to like Japan or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But I did think it was really cool, like how it was all post. What was it? Was it Magneto's daughter? Like kind of took everybody's powers away. M-Day or something. It wasn't Scarlet. It's Lorna. I think that. Wouldn't it Lorna?
Scarlet Witch is the one that takes
No, anyway.
takes all the goodness away. I think. I don't know. I'm not a big.
It was post M-Day.
I don't actually know. I thought it was Scarlet Witch who took everybody's powers away. Because I remember there was a Quicksilver series, or maybe a Quicksilver graphic novel. That's pretty cool. He's like old and still thinks he's a hero, but he actually just gets his ass kicked.
No, you're right. It is Scarlet Witch. For some reason, I thought it was Lorna.
Scarlet Witch is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, she's great.
In Marvel, and I do like the actress who portrays her.
Olsen.
A lot.
Yeah.
What?
Olsen. I don't remember her first name.
But I do not like what they did with her. One bit.
Wanda.
Yeah, man. Max Mayer.
So you followed these comics. How closely are the comics? Do they relate to the cinematic universe? How are you? Do you like the split from?
I typically only geek out on the animated stuff because I can see what it takes to put in there. I think also too, like MCU is owned by Disney, so it's like almost like a corporation of they just want profit. I mean, it was like that. What was that? Infinity Stones one.
Yeah. Endless amount of movies.
But I do like some of the, like, I'm really into like the Rocket Raccoon character that they do.
Yeah.
That's always cool. So like there's certain ones, I like the Thor Ragnarok. I thought that was good. I mean, a lot of people hated it. But I mean, so there's like ones that kind of get me, but
it's a roller coaster.
Overall, yeah, just the animated stuff's better like that.
Did you see my animated one series that I worked on?
The X-Men Wolverine one?
Wolverine.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible.
X-Men. It was like
Good.
It was like 08 or something when that came out.
Yeah,
or?
yeah, it was
Okay,
2000.
yeah, that's been a while. I did see it though, man. And then I really like there's like a 45-minute Hulk versus Wolverine
Yeah, that
animated
was
they
really
did,
good. I
and
saw that.
the Thor one. It's so good.
And that was I think that was the same production company. I watched, and that was right around the time that, like, I was at Marvel right around the time when Disney bought
Oh,
Marvel.
really?
And so they sent me from working on like X-Men stuff to like working on Hannah Montana stuff. It was a hard
Oh man,
it was a hard day. I mean, it was I didn't transfer well. I kind of walked away at that point. I was like, no,
yeah.
I'm
You're like,
good.
I'm out, dude.
I'm out. I'm out. Um,
Well, Ken, do we have anything, any other pressing questions? to ask here?
you know, I don't know. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
I mean, we pretty much covered it, man. I was just here for the ride, but I did like I watched like a couple other episodes you guys did, and one of them I think was like cool. We should probably touch on again. Where like Bill was like, the idea for this podcast was just he wants to have what people geek out about. That's kind of the idea, the cornerstone of it, or the slogan or whatever. And I think that's cool because you guys got a variety. Like I saw one guy who's like his name's like Ben DeRock or something. He's like a play director.
Yeah, Ben Rock.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
he's cool.
A playwright and like a director, and he was like really good on here. And yeah, man, you can really get a range of guests that way because everybody's geeking out about something, but it's all kind of art related in some sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that if you're geeking, if you're truly passionate about something, it almost becomes an art. Like for you.
Yeah.
I mean, like even collecting, for example, like stamps or maps or something, like people can start getting a lot more creative than they expect.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like the way that you have to take all these different sources of content and how they kind of connect to each other and work together to form, a thought, because without art and words, you don't really have anything, or at least media or connection. Like
Yeah,
art.
it's all bigger than one human, or it's like bigger than yourself,
Yeah.
And it's almost like an exchange where it's like, piece of art or a film or music. It benefits the person that created it because it's almost like therapeutic, but then somebody else sees it or hears it and they get something out of it too. So, I mean, that's the main difference between like, human artists and AI, because there's no, like, somebody might feel something off AI art, but the creator, they're just a robot. Like,
Right.
there's no mutual like symbiotic thing going on. But yeah, it's that's almost why as humans we got to keep doing it. We can't just be taken over by AI. You got to keep producing, whether you feel overwhelmed or not. Because that's what it's really about, is the connection.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the reasons why cons are so populated. People are connecting over this content, and it's like, maybe it's a little bit of escapism, but it's also, there are all these themes and different things that pull us in, that we want to either be ourselves or that we connect with in an emotional way.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
I mean, like, I do this chess podcast, which I bitch about often, and there's a moment where, like, I'm doing the live stream, and some of the people on the live stream were like, "Hey, will you just play chess and like kind of stop paying attention to the chat so much?" Because they wanted to see chess, of course. It's a chess live stream. And I was like, "Go fuck yourself." Because I was like, I'm not doing this just to play chess. And honestly, I play chess better when I'm not fucking talking to you. Like when I'm like paying attention to the chat, I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever, making my hilarious jokes. Like if you're just there to win and shit, then yeah, play. Why are you live streaming in the first place? Like I'm here to talk to people. I'm here to meet people.
Oh, it's like a community gathering. Yeah.
Like that's the whole fucking
Yeah.
point. Like otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, like, I get on the I want to make money train. But goddamn, if there's one thing, if there's a time machine, and in the future, I were to get in it, one thing that I would love to go and do, you gotta go back and talk to yourself, right? I would like to come back and be like, the worst part about, we'll call it getting older, is the fight between oneself and oneself. And this fight is everything becomes making money. It's like a fucking singularity. It's like a black hole where everything you do, from getting up to taking a shit, is about making money. Money.
You feel guilty if you don't.
Everything. And I wish that I could tell myself this, slap myself a little bit, and be like, learn to make money, bitch. I don't know. Whatever it is that I need to do. As an older person, as I've gotten older, I'm not an older person. As I've gotten older, that is something I've really fought against. A lot of mental distress against that. And I'm being overly dramatic. I am an actor.
Bad news for you,
idea.
Bill. As of 2022, the median age of the USA is 38.5 years old.
Why do you think that is, Ken?
Because I looked it up on Google.
That's not. That's a typical Ken response. He's like, I'm going to listen to the question and not fucking answer it. Why do you think it is the median age?
Because you take everybody's age in a sentence, multiply it together, and divide by like that many people, and that's how you get. Not multiply it together, but you add everybody's age up and divide by the amount of people. That's the number you get.
Well,
is it the median or is it the mean?
I think that's the median. I think that's literally the average of everybody's age.
It's not bad news, Ken.
Yeah,
so
but
that means we're averaged aged. Well, I'm about 8 years older than average age.
I think like Bill was kind of really onto something there, where it's an interesting thought because you're so programmed by society to have to make money every second of the day, and America's so expensive and keeps getting worse that it's like you gotta remind yourself to relax and find something to enjoy, that, or at least take a time out from thinking like that.
Does that make money? Does that make money? Relaxing?
Yeah, no, but like that's the thing. It's like you have to, or it could be anything. It could be like sunbathing on a beach or whatever you find that takes you out of that you can enjoy. But it's like you're right, and I think it's like even worse now thinking like that because everybody's just rubbing their pennies together, and it's like scarcity mindset all over the place. The mindset's even worse. Like you have to even make more money now than ever to survive. And it's just an interesting point, that's all I was saying before you kind of got off topic. I
get off topic. It's a spiritual gift.
Yeah. Well, Ken pulled you.
No, I pulled you off topic. That was my It's kind of my
That's just pictures.
superpower. If I have a superpower, it's to just. Oh, you're talking about something. I'm gonna take you over here.
Yeah, it's a good point, man. It's like you know, because that's really not why we're here to just
No.
make money. You know, there's got to be some other.
Money is completely and utterly bullshit. I say that with the angst of a 12-year-old, but truth, like everything I've found that is worth something, the worth is not equated to dollar cents. Like of anything that matters, that makes you feel good. I mean, money can make you feel good, but I don't know. I see people that are good at making money, and I don't. This is gonna sound stupid. I don't want to be like them. Like the way they think, I don't like the way they think. I don't want to think that way. I don't think that way. Like it's constant enterprising, and I'm gonna get on a soapbox. I'm gonna go ahead and slide off that soapbox really quick. We need to make money for society to work, but god damn, we love being miserable.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly we do, right? Like society clearly, that's the goal, is misery.
I agree. It's like
I'm being sarcastic, of course, but
oh well, it's like oppressively miserable.
I mean,
you're saying right because right now they're influxing that like scarcity mindset, survival mode that they want it. Then that keeps you down. That keeps you on a lower vibration. So like, you know, and worrying about money and thinking about all the time, you have to be in almost like a relaxed state to attract money. So it against you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good point, man. I mean, I haven't really heard it put like that before. You know, you're like having like a little confession moment there. It was deep, but
if we had money, we'd have more than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we need a little bit of money to do the Zoom call /
Yeah, I feel like we have a Patreon goal.
Anyway, let's end this on an upper note.
Sure.
Usually we ask the guest if they have like an aphorism or a joke or a riddle or a motto or something that is on their mind. Doesn't have to be something positive. So yeah, we're gonna give you the last word on this.
Oh man. Well, you know, I do have a sense of humor, but I'm not like the go-to joke guy. Yeah, I don't really have anything like that. I mean, I feel like, you know, the only thing people should be concentrating on is becoming the better version of themselves, you know? Like it's you're not in competition with anyone other than yourself. So if you can look back on your life and see improvement in some area where you've progressed, then you're winning. And if you keep it like that, keep that, stay in your lane. It's not really too possible to, for somebody else to bring you down. But when you start comparing yourself to other people and everything like that, then that's going to create issues, and jealousy is definitely a wasted emotion. So you don't even want to be dabbling there, just try to concentrate on your goals and how you can progress to get there, and compare your current self with your past self, and hopefully it's a better version and you can feel good about things,
I dig that. I think that's perfect. Can you?
God bless you guys.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Jason, for being a part of the Geeky Gamer Podcast this week. You rocked. I really dug your art. Jason Sidwell, you can find his work across social media If you look him up, J Sidwell with 2 L's, 0. I guess we're Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, YouTube maybe. Check out. I'm sure there's going to be some really amazing things to come. Score for this week has been by all lowercase letters and Mr. Interrupt, as well as special super awesome thanks to our Patreon members, Tim Roberts, Daniel Holker, Nostalgic, Natalia Cline. Couchfire Media has brought you the art and media production, not the technical issues, as well as Trois Productions.
That's who brought the technical issues.
No, for whatever it is they do. Thanks once again.
No one knows.
Jason Sidwell will be back Monday,
gentlemen,
for the Dreadlore live play. Into Space this next week. Are we going to finish up? All right. Well, see you then.